Welcome to my July wrap up. This is the video where I show you all the books that I've hauled in the month of July, that I've read, and that I will be unhauling now at the end of the month. And let me say, it already took a while to organize all the books I needed for this video. So let's stop yapping and let's go to the books that I've hauled in the month of July. We have 9 books here, all in physical form. And the first one is this graphic novel. It is volume 6 of the Heartstopper series by Alice Oseman, the final book in the Heartstopper series. And I waited for it a long time now. I couldn't wait to read it. I inhaled it instantly. So I can already put it on this side of the table because it is already read, and I can say I loved it. But I will talk a little bit more in detail about it in my next final chapter vlog. My next haul were 2 books, 2 special editions by Mondlichtbücher, and they were so beautiful. I couldn't resist buying them. The first one is Diabound by Sable Sorensen, the first book in a series. I forgot the name of the series, but it is book 1, and the dust jacket is already so beautiful, but it was the naked hardcover that made me buy it. So let me show you that. Let's put the dust jacket off, and here we go. This is the naked hardcover. The wolf on the other side, and we also have illustrations on the end pages here. I have heard good things about Diabound before, so fingers crossed that I will like it and enjoy it enough to also buy book 2, which is not up for pre-order yet in this special edition. So hopefully I will read Diabound soon, so I can make up my own opinion if I want to continue the series before the pre-order is up for the next book in the series. And the same goes for We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark. It is also the first book in a series. I've heard good things about it. It looked too pretty to resist. Here we have the sprayed edges, and it was also the naked hardcover here that draw me in. It looks like this, and of course also illustrated end pages. This is one of them, and this is the other one. So, as I said, again, a first book in a series. This is the Empire of Blood series, and I think it was marketed as Gladiator meets Vampire Diaries. So that intrigued me. I can't wait to have a look in it to see if I will like it. But the last book I've read inspired by the Roman Empire was The Will of the Many, and I loved that. So that is why I want to get a little bit more into this subgenre. I know this book is completely different. It is romantasy, it has vampires in it, things that Will of the Many didn't have, but that is okay. I just want to explore different stories, different ideas, and I can't wait to do it with this one. And here we have a book that I'm currently exploring, I'm almost finished. I will finish in the next few days, so probably before this video goes up, and it will be included in my next final chapter vlog because it is the final book of the Hawthorne universe by Jennifer Lynn Barnes and the final book of the Grandest Game series by her. It is the Gilded Blade, and I'm enjoying this universe so much. I'm inhaling these books. They always surprise me. They have all the parts of storytelling that I love. They have drama, they have romance, they have action and tension and suspense. It is a great mix that I'm just enjoying. And I also love that the topic of riddles is so strong in this universe. So I'm a little bit sad that it is almost over for me. But I can't wait to see what Jennifer Lynn Barnes writes next. And I can tell you, I also have a lot of backlist of her that I can read. So currently it is the last book by her on my TBR, but maybe I will change it in the next few months. We will see. But so far, that's it for the Hawthorne universe. Next, I went on a little bookstore adventure and I couldn't resist these two books. They were must haves. The first one is I Am the Blade by Marie Grashoff. She's a German writer and she writes such unique stories. In this one, humans become weapons, and it is on the German bestseller list. I've heard already so many great things about it, even if this is a new release of July. And the author is so talented. She even draw this cover herself, and also the backside illustration. I can't wait to read this book. It will be a duology in the end, and book 2 will be out next year in summer. But I will hopefully read this before book 2 comes out. As I said, I can't wait to read it. I'm super intrigued by all the things I've heard about the series. Sadly, only available in German, but maybe if enough people recommend it and advertise it, it will be translated. I don't know. I have my hopes up for Marie here. She would definitely deserve it. But let's talk about the other book that I've read. And this is probably a I cry my eyes out book. It is Write Me For You by Tilly Cole, and all her young adult romance books made me sob, and I can't even tell you how much, especially A Thousand Boy Kisses. I cried so much that I got a headache, that I couldn't even read the letters on the paper anymore, but I also couldn't stop reading. It is a highlight of my lifetime. I don't know why I read it twice, because it didn't get better reading it for the second time. I cried as much as in my first read, but I love these stories that break my heart, that touch me emotionally so much that I'm sitting and crying here. So, fingers crossed that this will also happen with Write Me For You. I don't know when I will read it, because these heartbreak sob stories are definitely mood reads. But I have it here now and I will pick it up as soon as I'm in the mood for it. The next book here technically doesn't count as a new haul because I've already read the book. I already have it in my bookshelf, but I wanted a second copy, a paperback copy, and preferably in English. The copy I have on my shelf is in German, and I want to reread the book, the series, and want to annotate the book, which is why I bought Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is the US very floppy paperback, and I'm loving everything about it. And I can also show you the version I already had on my shelves. This is a German special edition, and I can also show you the naked hardcover here, which I love much more than the dust jackets. And of course, I don't want to annotate my special edition. We also have an explanation of the world building here. And I will keep this special. I will keep the books on my shelf, but these books are way better for annotating and taking notes in it. So I will probably start this reread soon, even if I wanted to start when we have a release date for book 7, the final book in the Red Rising series. We haven't that yet, but I'm so eager to reread Red Rising, which means I will probably compromise on that and start my reread soon. Will take a lot of notes, will draw a mind map for it so I don't forget important information, which happened the first time reading these books. So I would say, wish me luck for it. And here we go, the two last books that I've hauled. I waited a long time now for them, and I'm so happy that they are finally translated to German. I contemplated buying the English version because I have read book 1 of the series already in English a few years ago as an ebook, but I don't like the cover of the book we have for the full Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. So I'm buying now these German versions. This is book 1, and this is book 2. And together they will have a image when they are fully published, which I think is a pretty cool feature. Don't fall on me, please. But I loved book 1 back then. I'm loving it, reading it now in German. These are very short books. Book 1 has 240 pages. So very quick reads. I'm enjoying them very much. But I also need to warn you, this book contains very serious, very dark topics. Please read the trigger warnings, and let me say, this is not dark romance. Even if you could see it at that when you start book 1, it is a thriller series, and I can't wait to explore the story further after my reread of book 1. So that's it. 9 books hauled, 8 books here, 1 back there, and I just realized I put all these books except Heartstopper on the wrong side of the table because I always put my unread and hauled books on this side of the table. So we will also do that today. I was just confused by one book already lying here, but that's correct. I already read Heartstopper. So let's continue with the books that I've finished. And by finished, I mean read or DNF'd. And the first book here is a DNF, and I can't even tell you why it took me so long to DNF it. I'm already two-thirds into the book, and it is a school book about biochemistry and molecular biology. It says on the cover that it is an introduction, but not an introduction for me. Probably an introduction if you're already studying chemistry and biology, because me, I only understand maybe 5% of the book. So I don't know why I hesitated DNFing it for so long. One aspect probably was that this book was expensive. And the second aspect is that I wanted to learn more about this topic, but please, not if I don't understand 95% of the book. So I finally DNF'd it. I can now take my bookmark out of it and use it for another read, but this one is DNF and with that an Unhaul. So I'm already putting it here. This book was my Thursday read with me book before I started yesteryear. It is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark, and I enjoyed my time with it, even if it had a very slow first half, and I missed the suspense plot in the first half of the book, but we got that in the second half, which I enjoyed way more because that was what I was expecting in the book. But in the end, it got a little bit weird again. And if you want to know more, you can see my Let's Talk About the Book video on my channel. And here we have the next book that you can see in my next final chapter vlog. It is Hollow by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti, the authors of the Zodiac Academy universe. This is a completely new series, new universe by them. It is book one of the Crown of Hearts and Chaos series, and I enjoyed my time with it. I liked the plot of book one. It was peak enemies to lovers. I'm loving that the authors can write good enemies to lovers, and that it will take ages for the enemies to become lovers. It had a lot of elements of a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which I didn't mind. But I also need to say I am not interested in reading book two of the series. The plot that I was interested in was finished in book one, and I will leave it with that. And I got back to ice hockey romance. I love this subgenre, and I've read book one of the Game Changer series and book six of the Game Changer series. This continues the story of book two, Heated Rivalry. So the story of Ilya and Shane. And here we have the story of Kip and Scott, the story where all of it begins, and I loved both of them. I loved to continue Ilya and Shane's story here. Loved seeing them working on their relationship and their problems that comes with a secret relationship especially. So I very much enjoyed this read, and I also enjoyed Kip and Scott's story. What I can already tell you here before you see the next final chapter video is that I enjoy the second half of these books way more than the first half, because we concentrate mostly on spice in the first half of these books and more on the problems and deep talk in the second half, which I like more. but more details to that in the next week. And here we go, another series finished. Not in the next final chapter vlog. I'm making a special video on this series and the other series in this universe. It is a Sky Beyond the Storm by Saba Tahir, book 4 in the An Ember in the Ashes series. And I was really surprised by this series. I really enjoyed it, but it was also a super, super tough read. I don't really see them as YA books because the topics are so dark. We deal the whole 4 books with war, with needing to make difficult decisions when you only have bad choices to make. We deal with losses, with a lot of trauma here, so be aware of that. But I loved the series. I really, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to read the spin off duology, which takes place 20 years later. 2 books from the same universe here again. 2 books in different formats because I've read them in different languages. I already talked about the universe in this video. It is the Hawthorne universe of Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And I've read Glorious Rivals, book 2 of the Grandest Game series in German. And then I've read the same backward as forward in English because they haven't translated that. And I also decided to continue this series with the last book in English just because I don't want to wait until October to read it. So you already know how much I love this universe. I love that all the stories are important for the grand finale in The Gilded Blade. And if you want to know more about the singular books of the series, I will tell you more next week in my final chapter vlog. I will repeat that over and over today. Because I had a really, really strong month when we talk about reading series. This series I read for last week's vlog, so for my 26 for 2026 series. I don't even know if this duology has a particular name, but these are Follow Me Back and Tell Me No Lies by A.V. Geiger. And this is a new adult suspense duology with 2 main characters that have a lot of trauma and anxiety. I really, really enjoyed my reread of book 1. I haven't remembered much of it, which is why I needed to do a reread here. And then I've read finally book 2 of this duology, which I didn't enjoy as much as book 1, sadly. But I'm still glad that I finally read these books and with that finished another series. And as we're talking about series, I also started a new one here, which is the Lycanius trilogy by James Islington with The Shadow of What Was Lost. I already told you here that I loved The Will of the Many. This is now the series that he wrote before that, and it is now republished in German. So I got a review copy here and already read it, of course. We are talking about the books that I've read last month. So I really enjoyed my time with this book, but oh my god, this was heavy. There was so much going on, and I always had more questions than answers to the plot, which I think was intended. So I enjoyed my time with it, even if it was high fantasy as its best, with a lot of world building, a lot of informations, a lot of plot twists. and also a lot of drama and problems for our main characters that are thrown in a war that is way bigger than them. But if you want to know more about the story in particular, you can probably tell by now. You can see it in next week's final chapter vlog. But I promise this was now the last book for next week's final chapter vlog. I have three more books here to talk about. The first one is book one in the Marriage to a Billionaire series. In German, it is for some reason called the Playing with Fire series, but I haven't read this German version. I have read the English one, The Marriage Bargain, and it was a super quick and easy read. It wasn't really good, it was more okay, but it was what I needed after a lot of heavy reads here in the fantasy genre. So I didn't mind that this book was a bit silly and a bit eye rolling. And I will definitely continue with this series for the next 26 for 2026 vlog. And here we go, the last two books that I want to talk about before we go to the Unhaul part. But we are already starting it with this series. We have here Take a Chance by Abby Glines and One More Chance. These are book 7 and 8 of the Rosemary Beach series. And I've read book 1 to 6 ages ago. I had a feeling about the books that I won't like them anymore, and I was right about it. I mean, I've started reading book 7, but I only got 47 pages in before I decided I had enough. I don't want to read that. I don't want to continue. So I DNF'd Take a Chance. I never read One More Chance, and I won't read it, which is why we get now straight to the on-haul section of this video. And I need to make a little bit of space here because I have a lot of books to unhaul. As I said, book 7 and 8 here, but not only them. I also have book 1 to 6 of the series and book 9 to 13. So the whole Rosemary Beach series, all 13 books of it, will be on hold after July now. But that's not it. I needed to put the biochemistry book to the side, but I will also unhaul all the other books I had from Abby Glines on my TBR. We have Little Secrets and Little Lies, which is a duology. And we also have the whole Sea Breeze series here. All 9 books. I've took a sneak peek in book 1 here, only read the prologue and already rolled my eyes about it. So definitely a no for me, which means all Abby Glines books I have will leave my house now. But that's not it. We need to make space again because I also have this deck here that we need to talk about now. 3 series that I decided that I won't continue them. So let's talk about them. The first series here is the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. I've read this novella and book 1 of this trilogy when it was published, and I really regret also buying book 2 and 3 of the series because there were so many discussions over the series, so many problematics with the series that I now finally decided that I won't continue the series. I lost every single bit of interest in it when I got more and more aware of the fact that this is a copy of other books of the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard, and I think Kiss of Deception by, I forgot the author's name, but I don't want to support that, so these books also leave my house. And definitely not as problematic, but I also don't want to continue the series, is the Jacksonville Ray series by Emily Rath. This is book one, Packing Around, the only book I've read from the series. And when I read it, I said that I wanted to give it a second try together with my bunny partner Yassi. But we talked about it now, and we both don't want to continue, to be honest. So this can also leave my house. Like the next series we have here, and the last one, it is the Rocky series by Nalini Singh, a rockstar romance series, and the only book I've read from the series is the first one. It is called Rock Addiction in English, and I didn't enjoy the book. I think it was eye rolling and annoying, and it missed out on one important topic, which was the move from the female protagonist from New Zealand to the US, I think. So I dragged picking up book 2 to 4 of the series for years now, and this is the only sign I need. I don't want to continue the series, so this will also leave my house, which means we have now finished every single section of this video. No, stop. That's a lie. I need to unhaul more books from my red pile. So let me rearrange here. I also want to unhaul these 4 books, The Ending Rights Itself, Hollow, and the Follow Me Back duology. Most of them I enjoyed reading, but I don't see myself rereading these books or ever thinking about it as much as I want to when I keep them. So they need to leave the house, and this book also need to leave my house at some point. The Marriage Bargain, but not right now. I will keep it until I finish the Marriage to a Billionaire series, so I can unhaul them all together then. So, as you can see, a lot of books here, a lot of stacks, but I'm really, really happy with the result. And I can say I definitely read more than I hauled. I don't know if you can even see my haul pile anymore, but it doesn't matter. I've read more than that, and I've even unhauled more. So I definitely reduced my TBR, which is always the goal here. So that makes me happy. And please tell me in the comments what you have read in July. What was your favorite read? What was your least favorite read? Have you also DNF'd any books? Like the video if you wanna, follow my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye!